Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. It's a privilege to continue sharing our stories with you today. An interesting one that I'd like to talk about is the experience I had with land, aka shamba, aka mugunda, aka pahali ya kuwekea kakitu, aka kaproti. Don't mind all the definitions. Some of them are just like street lingo and different ways we refer to land in Kenya. A few years back, I had worked with a team that was very big on investment. And one of the gentlemen who we were working there later branched out and partnered with another company, and they were doing land sales. So as usual, when you're looking to grow yourself and you really want to make the most in terms of sales and all of that, you reach out to your network. So his former colleague reaches out to me, hi, I'm currently here, and by then I had also left the common employer, and I am part of an outfit that's selling land. This land was out of the city, but like what we call I think peripheral cities. They're considered part of the main city, which is Nairobi, but kind of outskirts in a sense. So like, yeah, there's this land, and we have a very good model where you can come. We take you to visit the land, and then after you visit the land, you decide. Showed me the map, how the land was placed, and the different development projects that are prospecting in that area. Now, the genesis of the availability of this land is that there are communities and families that have had tracts and tracts of land. But as development has expanded, agriculture is changing, pastoralism is changing, there has been a need for land to do different things, the housings, the commercial buildings, and all of that. So it's kind of like land like this that was being sold. And one of the key things that this team was promising to deliver was ready titles, especially when you pay upfront. So ready to go. So we agree, let's do the visit first. I see, and then I decide from there. But from the site plan he had sent me, I identified certain pieces, and I was very interested in like these three are close to each other. It looks like good stuff. So we do the tour one Saturday morning, early, take a vehicle. There was also another person here. So three of us head down, about an hour drive, if I remember right. And we're in this site. So we go through the site. It's like no man's land, literally. There's barely water. That's when they're just trying to test and see the kind of water that is there. Because typically this is an area known for salty water or highly mineral dense water. So they're just trying to see how the water, but it was being dug and all of that. And I remember we got to like the town center, closer to where the land for purchase was, took a break, very fresh food, everything. Then went down with one of the guides to see the land. And for me, one of the things that still to date amazes me with land sale is how do these guys know where this land ends and this land begins? How do these people know this is the plot, this is not the plot anyway? That's why I'm not a realtor or any of those things. So it just intrigued me. So we went into the space where the land was, and we walked and we just saw how the land was being done and the prep, and some places where people had bought. I think one or two people had already cordoned off their purchase pieces. So it really did seem like the real deal. So when I had gone down on that trip, I had one of the things, definitely because I'm doing this, that I really wanted to be intentional about finances. So there was a bank account I had investigated and found out you could get a checkbook with very minimal costs. So I had this bank account with a checkbook. So I had carried the checkbook and told myself, I want to commit and see if I could pay this off over a given period of time. You know, being they're beginning their sales, there is a higher negotiating power. That's good to note. Whenever there is someone beginning, to make a sale, provided you have done the background checks that it's correct, or it's true land and all of that, then it's very easy for you to also negotiate at a good rate. And at that juncture, I think they even told me they had a partnership in a certain local bank, one of the small microfinances that I had an account with, interestingly, that would allow you to take a facility that you could pay off slowly until you now pay off the land. So we finished seeing the land, it's evening, we've had a good time. And as we come back into the city, I'm between decisions. So I'm holding my price check with such little money. I'm even wondering how I will present it as my first down payment. But I'm just telling myself, try. And we go down the city, and I have not made a decision all along. I'm just thinking. And on the other end, I'm also waiting for the potential seller to pitch and say a bit more. So we come all the way down and we get to the place where I'm supposed to disembark. The potential seller has said nothing. Me, I'm quiet. I disembark. Check in hand, nothing agreed. I go away 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, silence. Believe it or not, that is why this one is called experience. This story does not have a very happy ending for me because I did not take the decision to purchase that piece of land. And looking back, this could be almost 8 years ago. The price I was getting was really a good deal. And given that there was the ability or the opportunity to negotiate, I easily would have paid it off. As in right now, as we'll be talking the end of these 8 years, I would have finished paying it off, and it didn't even need to be in debt. It just needed to be agreed that every month you would pay a certain amount and to keep your end of the bargain. So for me, it was a big lesson. First, I asked myself, had I done all due diligence? Yes and no. One, I operated on trust, so I worked with someone I knew. 2, I had asked to see the site map so that I could verify that this land was actually true. 3, I did make time to go and visit the site so that I could also see, is this land being sold to other people, and I saw it had been cordoned off. I saw the waterwork that had been spoken about was happening. So to some extent, there was some preliminary work I had done just to confirm. Then should I have opted to purchase the land, then it would mean I would ideally have done a search at the lands office, and then I would also engage a legal practitioner to just assist me to evaluate the contract and see what it needs. And then I would definitively want to know the terms of exchange of title, because remember there was the offer of you pay upfront, you get title upfront. But I was looking to go for a more long-term offer where I would pay over a certain period of time. So those are some of the things that we need to put into consideration, just to mention a few as we look into purchasing land, but also be willing to take the steps. Sometimes when you're starting, it looks so insurmountable. But when you look back, you realize you actually would have been able to do it. I realized I would actually have been able to do it. Maybe I was over ambitious in a sense. With the 3 plots, they were about an 1/8 each, but I probably would have been able to take 2 or take 1, pay off, and take the next. So it's just kind of that place in your mind where you're willing to go into the investment, and at the same time, you've done your due diligence before you get into it. What's the big lesson from this experience? I will definitely be looking into buying land later, and one of the things that I have done now to also ensure that I'm very intentional and I meet that objective is I've joined a savings group that one of their deliverables is to avail you with opportunities to buy land. Then I've also been praying and asking which would be an ideal place, what budget would I work with, so that I could find the right place for me within a given period of time. Timelines are key. So many times, especially in the days we're living, there's a microwave mentality. But we have to remember Rome was not built in a day. Our investments will take time before we accumulate them and get to what we would like to see as outcome. So keep planning, keep wanting to do random days, go for a trip, see what that area looks like, put on your rubber shoes, go and walk around an area and just begin to envision yourself as an owner of land or property. We look forward to continuing this conversation. It's been great. It's a